So before we kick things off, we're just going to do a real quick trigger warning for anybody who's a little sensitive to the content of this podcast. This podcast is going to touch on subjects like sexual assault and rape and abuse and brainwashing and trauma and devil babies. So if that is something that you cannot listen to, then please don't listen to this episode.
We'll see you at the next one.
Bye.
How awful.
Hello.
Oh, hello.
Here we are.
I was la-lying in my own la-la land. You guys get me at, like, optimal exhaustion.
Bea started her first week of work this week.
I did.
Post-quarantine.
I did.
So fun.
Is it? It's very hard to function as an adult who functions after not being an adult who functions for 6 months.
Ain't that the truth?
My body's like, why are you wearing pants?
Yeah.
Why are there shoes on my feet? My feet hurt so much. It's bizarre. You guys really care about this, I know.
Here we are. We are on episode 3 of the How Awful podcast. Last episode, we drew from our bowl, and I drew paranormal.
Still not a bowl.
Bea drew true crime.
I did.
I'm not in the mood for your sass today.
She's not in the mood for my sass, and I have no way of being any other because I'm just too tired.
Izzy, you are making so much noise with your jingle
Can
bells.
you quiet down in the front?
Izzy, shh.
We have to keep bells on our assistant, so we know where she is at all times, because sometimes she likes to hide under furniture. Anyway. So true crime, paranormal, whole reason we got into this mess.
This is the episode.
This is the episode, and I'm sorry for the state of us.
This is the episode that we have been waiting to record.
Yes.
So we're very excited to
Yes.
share our stories. I'm really excited to read what you have presented to me.
I went for a doozy right off the bat.
Hey, we love awful.
It's awful.
The more awful, the better.
It's pretty damn awful. So, true crime.
True crime.
Tanya's going to start reading my research.
Do you need to introduce this in any way before I start?
This is awful.
All right. The Girl in the Box.
Yeah, off to a great start already. Right?
I don't know what this is.
Good.
Just
I didn't
from that.
either. I had never heard of this, which is shocking.
Okay, so there's a young girl.
Mm-hmm.
Her name is Colleen J. Stan. She was born on December 31st.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year, 1956. So in 1977, when Colleen was 20 years old, she was hitchhiking from her home in Eugene, Oregon, to a friend's home in Northern California, where she was headed to a birthday party.
It's a long way.
Long way. Long from us as well. We are in Southern California.
True.
So it's the 70s. She's on her way to her friend's birthday party in Northern California. Colleen found herself in a small town on the northern edge of California's Central Valley called Red Bluff on May 19th when a blue van, don't trust blue vans.
Never trust a van, especially if it's blue.
No, the blue van pulls up in response to her hailing for a ride. So she's like hitchhiking.
Yes.
Oh dear, that's
Yeah.
never a good idea.
But it's the 70s.
I still don't think
The 60s and 70s, a bunch of hitchhikers. All you hear is horror stories about hitchhikers.
that's true. Still a bad idea.
Yeah.
Not her fault though.
No,
Let me clarify.
blaming. Not her fault.
Not her
But
fault
still,
whatsoever.
Like, just, if I could go back in time, get in the DeLorean, and just go up to every girl on the side of the road with her thumb up and just put it down, go, no,
Hey, Colleen,
call your parents, then I would.
we love you.
Colleen,
Stay safe.
Bad move.
Okay, anyway, so Colleen was doing the thing that we don't like.
We don't like it.
Colleen was a self-professed professional hitchhiker and had turned down several rides already that she deemed to be unsafe. So she was already kind of feeling this out.
Yeah. So she's smart typically about it. She doesn't get into cars that give her weird vibes.
No. Okay. Inside the blue van was a traditional couple. Oh, God.
Mm-hmm.
And their infant child.
Never trust the straights.
Reassured that she was safe with this unassuming family, she got in the van. I mean, to be fair, I would too.
Yeah. Like, oh, there's a kid in the car.
Yeah.
Safe.
Moms don't hurt people. Beside her on the seat was a wooden box. Colleen didn't know what the box was and didn't pay it any mind. Mistake has been made.
Second mistake.
Cameron Hooker. That's the name.
That's his name.
A lumber mill worker, and his wife, Janice.
Janice. Wow, you got fancy on Janice.
Janice.
Yeah, let's go with Janice.
Cameron and Janice Hooker, the couple in the van, were residents of Red Bluff and seemed nice enough. At a gas station stop, Colleen had a voice in her head telling her to run for her life. Wow. And never look back, but she didn't listen to it and continued to ride with the hookers. Another mistake has been made.
It's very true. What Colleen doesn't know, clearly, is that Janice had made a deal with her husband, Cameron, that they could drive around and find a young girl to pick up to be his sex slave.
Ew.
So that she no longer had to participate in his sex games and could just be his wife.
Okay, marriage doesn't work like that. You gotta communicate your feelings.
Yes.
Don't just get him a sex slave. Say, I don't want to have sex with you anymore.
He communicated his feelings as, I want a sex slave. And she was like, okay.
Dope.
But her one term was no penetrative sex. So Janice was a conservative.
She
with
was
the
a
sex
martyr.
Slave, I guess.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
By
the way, no hate to actual sex slaves. They're a thing. It's in the BDSM world. I'm sorry if I'm being horribly offensive and you guys don't call yourselves sex slaves, but
I feel like the word slave is a big no.
The word slave is a big no. The whole BDSM thing with master and
the terminology is very
the terminology is probably problematic, but reclaim it, I guess.
Anyway, my question.
Yes.
For you.
Answer.
Specifically, because you're definitely going to have this answer.
Oh, okay.
How did she know that? How do you know that there was a voice in her head?
That would be a spoiler.
Okay, we'll get down to it. Okay. Once the hookers.
Really stuck on the hookers. Hey.
That's their last name.
I knew hookers. And they were lovely church-going people.
Oh, you knew people with the last name hookers.
Yes.
Oh, dear. Okay.
Even funnier. Oh, God, I hope they never listen to this. Even funnier is the woman was a hooker, and then she married a Disney. So she went from a hooker to a Disney.
So she could have been like Sarah Disney Hooker. If she combined her last names.
If she'd hyphenated, Disney Hooker could have been her name.
We're never gonna get through this.
Nope, sorry, go ahead.
We were so tired.
We're way more chatty when we're tired. That's the problem.
Slap happy.
Once the hookers
had driven to a more isolated area and they were confident they were alone, they pulled off to the side of the road, and here is where Colleen's 7-year nightmare began. Oh.
7 years.
God damn it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It gets really bad. Go ahead.
With a knife to her throat, Cameron Hooker threatened to kill Colleen if she fought him and placed the handmade wooden deprivation box over her head.
Okay, so let's flash back to when she got in the car and she sat down next to a box and she didn't know what it was. Well,
what's a deprivation box?
I will tell you. This is a box that Cameron Hooker made himself.
Okay.
Little craftsman. Arts and crafts on the weekends.
Well, he is a lumber mill worker.
Crafted it to lock around Colleen's head. It is lined in carpet so that if she screamed, it couldn't be heard. And it's designed to block out light, sound, and fresh air. I have a picture of it. Do you want to see it?
You're going to show me anyway.
I'm going to show you it anyway. And we'll post this on social media as well. So that would be that box. So her neck goes in there. Then they locks it on this side.
That's a big box.
Well, yeah, it's heavy.
Okay, so what she's showing me, it kind of looks like a clock, like a deformed clock.
Yeah.
Without the clock face.
Mm-hmm. To be fair, he made this without knowing the size of the woman he was going to entrap. So, I don't know.
That's very strange.
Yeah,
How did she not be like, what's this weird box?
She didn't ask any questions. She needed to have asked more questions. Again, not blaming, but.
So they then took Colleen to their small home where Hooker strung her up by her hands and blindfolded her, physically attacked her, and left her suspended above them while he had sex with Janice beneath her. What?
Normal stuff.
A tool bag.
Right?
Once they determined that leaving her in the basement was too risky, given their small children and neighbors, they bound and gagged her and forced her into a coffin like a... Oh. They forced her into a coffin-like box that was constructed under their waterbed. Waterbed. Let's side note that.
It was like raised up on platforms, and like one of the platforms was actually this box that Colleen was in.
Here is where Colleen would stay, 23 hours a day for the next several years. Oh my God.
Yeah, so let me paint a picture of this.
This is so awful.
I know. Let me paint a picture of this box for you. The only thing she had inside the box was a bedpan that she had to move up underneath her. I hope you heard my my acid gurgle. Yeah, it was a bedpan that she had to move up underneath her using her feet to use. And then they would throw like food scraps in there. But other than that, she would only be let out to do the dishes and other household chores and to be brutally sexually assaulted by Cameron.
Wow. God. Literal torture.
Yeah, imagine being in a coffin for 23 hours a day.
I will not.
I have a picture of that too. Do you want to see it?
You're going to show me anyway.
I sure am. Oh, here's the so this is somebody at the court. It's not Colleen
like
in the box. But this is the actual box. So it was a box inside of a box.
Yeah, 100% looks like a coffin in a drawer.
And they have somebody demonstrating.
Yeah.
What it was like for her.
They have it. There. Yeah, it looks like a coffin that's inside a very large drawer that you could like pull out from underneath the bed.
Yep.
What a hiding place.
Seriously. And they would have sex.
This is so premeditated because...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is extremely...
Well, yeah, that was the whole point. They went out to get somebody so that he would lay off Janice.
And it's just kind of like, how do you choose? Like, how do you just like drive around and just choose somebody to do this
Well, I'm going to guess a 20-year-old hitchhiker is pretty prime.
Guys, don't hitchhike.
Don't do it.
It's very dangerous.
Yeah, don't do that. It's quarantine. No essential. This is not essential, Cameron Hooker. Go ahead.
During her enslavement, Hooker dehumanized her by taking away her name and referring to her only as K, the letter K. Mm-hmm. And she could only refer to Hooker as master. Ew.
Obviously.
He brainwashed her into believing in a powerful organization called The Company.
Yeah.
What?
So, yeah, Hooker blamed her abduction on this make-believe organization, claiming that they forced him to abduct her and they were watching her and her family. So if she made any escape attempts, what the company would do to her would be worse than the hookers, than what they're doing.
So give her something to fear that's worse than him. Wow.
It was also at this time that Cameron began to actually rape her and not just sexually assault her. Right. So he broke his wife's rules and started...
penetrating.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. A year into her capture, Colleen was forced to sign a contract which indicated that she had sold herself to the hookers as their property. Mm-hmm. The signing of this contract and her fear of the company, so-called company, allowed her more freedoms. She'd be permitted to go for a jog, work in the yard, care for their children. She made no attempts to escape. Yeah, at this point.
Because she thought, okay, I've signed this, so now they have permission to kill me. They own me now.
Yeah.
So at this point, she's just too afraid.
So in 1981, 4 years after she was kidnapped, Colleen was allowed to visit her family.
Yep.
Oh. With Cameron accompanying her as her boyfriend.
Yep.
Colleen raised no alarms with her family. Oh, my God. Mm-hmm. And again, made no attempts to escape. Oh, my God.
So her dad said, like, they hadn't seen her in a few years. Obviously, they were really worried about her. But when she showed up, she wasn't, she looked a little, like, harried, but she didn't really look like she was going through much. She didn't have physical, like, Cameron wasn't really beating her. He was assaulting her sexually. So
couldn't see her.
Exactly.
The invisible crime.
So they thought she was okay. Not only that, but her and Cameron looked so happy together that her mom insisted on taking a picture of them. Want to see it?
You're going to show me anyway.
Sure am. So that's her with her captor And just so you understand, it literally looks like a very happy couple.
Yeah.
Oh, and here's another fun tidbit. That's Janice.
Oh, Janice. Janice is giving us a sultry eye.
Janice looks like, what was it, Regan from The Exorcist before she, started spitting up her pea soup.
Yeah.
That's how she looks. Go ahead.
After the visit, Cameron grew paranoid. He'd given her too much freedom and confined her back to the box where she stayed for 23 hours of the day for the next 3 years. Oh, so after even having just a taste of freedom.
Yeah, he took it away from her.
Eventually, she was allowed basic freedoms once again, allowed out to meet neighbors and take care of the kids and perform household chores, finally.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't wait to do chores. I'm sure she probably couldn't wait.
Probably couldn't wait, no.
Cameron enlisted her to help him build an underground bunker where he claimed he was going to hold even more sex slaves. Joy!
Yep.
Colleen was able to convince Cameron to allow her to get a job, cleaning rooms at a nearby hotel to contribute to their family.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. After 7 years and no escaped attempt, Cameron felt confident enough to let this happen. Oh my gosh.
Yep.
It was at this point Cameron let his wife Janice know he wanted to take Colleen as his second wife. This was the last straw for Janice.
This was. Not the 7 years of sleeping above a girl in a box. This was. So Janice had been subjected to sexual and physical and psychological and emotional abuse.
She's a victim here too, I think,
for the entirety of their relationship, and had been in deep denial over what was happening with Colleen up until this point, and this kind of snapped her out of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, go ahead.
In August of 1984, Janice went to the hotel during Colleen's shift and told her everything, that Cameron was not a part of the company, though she maintained that the company still existed, but that Cameron wasn't involved.
Yes. So I think it's safe to say that Janice was also brainwashed into believing in the company. So I think she believed it was an actual organization, but that Cameron wasn't associated with it.
Gotcha.
However, she told Colleen that they were not watching her and they were not watching her family.
So she could go.
Yeah.
Colleen immediately went to a nearby bus station. But first she called Cameron to tell him she was leaving.
Yeah, she was so brainwashed at this point that she felt like she had to tell him before she left. But this is the part that just is like, oh my God. So Cameron, who is a rapist, a liar, an abuser, a manipulator, a torturer, a sadomasochist, burst into tears when she told him she was leaving him. Didn't attempt to go get her, just sobbed. Like a little bitch baby.
Wow.
Yep.
So Colleen went home, still said nothing about what had happened due to Janice begging her to give Cameron time to reform and change. In November of that same year, Janice went to the Red Bluff police, Lieutenant Jerry D. Brown, and told them that her husband had kidnapped, tortured, and murdered missing person Marie Elizabeth. I
want to say it's Spanik or Spanicky or... Sorry for butchering it.
It's Spannhake. Spanik.
Sure.
We'll make it up. Who had disappeared in 1976, a year before Colleen's kidnapping. Her body was never found, so the charge could never be carried out. However, the investigation led them to Colleen and her story.
Mm-hmm.
Janice testified against her husband in exchange for full immunity. Colleen finally spoke out about her ordeal, testified as well.
Exactly. So, but as you'd expect during court, the cross-examination was brutal towards Colleen and painted her as a willing participant. And she was still recovering from PTSD from this. She was still recovering from being brainwashed from it.
She's probably trying to unlearn everything.
So she's up there being told she was a willing participant and believing that she was. So her testimony, while it helped, it was Janice's that really sealed it.
God, that's so interesting. Mm-hmm. Cameron was eventually sentenced to consecutive terms for kidnapping, sexual assault, and the use of a knife. Grand total of his sentencing was 104 years. Mm-hmm. 104.
Uh-huh.
In 2015, his application for parole was denied. Thank you.
Oh, wait.
However, Colleen has been informed that he may be up for parole release in March of 2021 due to COVID-19.
Woohoo! Woo!
No way.
Yep, they're trying to convince the courts that he is still a danger, even though he's in his 60s at this point.
That's still young.
Yeah, that's still young. It's still very young. So yeah.
Janice is now a social worker and works in a mental health facility. Feels like the appropriate place for Janice. Colleen Stan is alive and well and the subject of many movies and documentaries.
Yes, so that is why we knew that a voice told her to run, because Colleen herself said it. But anyway, some of the films...
I was expecting this to just end awfully.
I know, it didn't.
I mean, it has a happy ending.
It has a happy ending.
An awful thing happened.
So the films that this is based off of, the main plot of the American documentary-style horror film, The Poughkeepsie Tapes, from 2007 was based on this. On September 10th, 2016, television movie based on the case titled Girl in the Box premiered on Lifetime. So your mom's probably seen it. Starring Addison Timlin as Colleen, Zane Holtz as Cameron, and Zelda Williams Zelda Williams as Janice Hooker. The movie was followed by a 2-hour...
Zelda Williams, is that Robin Williams' daughter?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
I was like, why is this ringing a bell? Oh, okay, good. The movie was followed by a 2-hour documentary called Colleen Stan, Girl in the Box. Let's see. The case is documented in the book Perfect Victim, The True Story of the Girl in the Box, by prosecutor Christine McGuire and Carla Norton, and referenced in Kathy Reich's novel Monday Morning. An updated version of Stan's story, Colleen Stan, The Simple Gifts of Life by Jim Green, was published in 2009. In music, in 1996, the American rock band Elysian Fields, I
think it's Elysian.
Elysian Fields released a song titled Jack in the Box for their debut studio album Bleed Your Cedar, which was made available for purchase. That's a great name, Bleed Your Cedar.
I don't know what that means.
Which was made available, cedar can't bleed, for purchase in the same year. Okay, its lyrical content delves into Stan's experience of being imprisoned by Cameron in the box under the bed he shared with his wife and alludes to the power he had over her. The case inspired the name for Richard Ramirez's, meaning the Night Stalker, Texas experimental noise group Black Leather Jesus.
Of course it did.
You know you did something wrong when Richard Ramirez looks up to you.
Oh, that guy.
In 2012, a short opera piece composed by Patrick Jarlstam and Johannes Bernander was based on the kidnapping and premiered in Stockholm, Sweden under the name of not English. You don't want me to do it, trust me. It's like Den 4444 Idagen. There you go, I did it. Television. Okay. The case and its core elements of an invisible conspiracy used to coerce the victim into servitude and long periods of confinement have formed the basis of several episodes of television crime series, including Criminal Minds, episode The Company, season 7, Ghost Whisperer, episode Ball and Chain, season 4, Law and Order Special Victims Unit, episodes Slaves, season 1. It was profiled in the 2008 episode Kidnapped of the Investigation Discovery series Wicked Attraction. The Apartment, a 2012 episode of the sci-fi series Paranormal Witness, told the story of the disappearance of Marie Spanik and includes a cameo mention of Stan's kidnapping. So paranormal meets true crime.
Hey.
The case was also mentioned in passing during an episode of Waking the Dead, episode Fugue States, Part 1, Season 4. So clearly this has been well documented. My sources were Wikipedia, a Film Daily article by Megan Summers called Girl in the Box, The Harrowing Haunting Kidnapping of Colleen Stan. All That's Interesting article by Kara Goldfarb, The Horrifying Story of Colleen Stan, The Girl in the Box, and a video on YouTube that you can watch that actually features Colleen Stan telling her story, which is The Girl in the Box, The Kidnapping of Colleen Stan crime documentary.
Snap.
So that is Colleen Stan.
I have dizzy.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I think the most alarming part, though, is the fact that she went back home to her family.
Yeah.
And, had a taste of freedom. I bet
she saw her parents after, 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, I bet you she was just so happy to be with them that she just kind of probably put aside all the trauma she was experiencing.
Yeah.
Just to have that moment with them.
One of the things I left out was he let her call her dad at one point into her kidnapping. I left it out because I couldn't find an exact time from when
Yeah,
did
it
that.
was at some point.
It was at some point, and she didn't allude to anything being wrong. She told him she was fine, that she had met a man and was living with him, and that was that. But it made him so nervous that he like disconnected the phone and then put her back in the box for like another year or two straight.
I do wonder what her family had thought that whole time, but
they thought she had joined a cult.
Yeah, I mean, she's clearly kind of a wild child. I mean, I'm just basing this off of the hitchhiking because I'm such a rule follower that the thought of hitchhiking, like,
I mean,
I would like never ever even think to do something like that because that sounds. I mean, maybe it's because it's 2020 and I realize that that's probably dangerous, but
you hitchhike, you die.
Oh my gosh!
But honestly, back then you hitchhike, you die.
Yeah. So she was like pretty bold and brave.
She was ballsy for sure. But by all accounts, she was a good kid.
Yeah.
She just didn't have the means to get from point A to point B. So she would hitchhike and do so as safely as she could. But lesson learned.
A lot of people used to hitchhike to like school.
Yeah.
People would there would be like teenagers who would hitchhike to go to high school.
Yeah.
I've heard stories.
It's not even something that I would like. I consider. I've never even seen a hitchhiker. I think if I would be like murder. Like I would be convinced they were going to murder me.
Right.
Not the other way around.
Too many stereotypical stories about hitchhiking to assume that it's safe.
It's just I just always think of like whenever we had drove by Statesville Prison in Illinois, and there were all those signs on the side of the road that said "Do not pick up hitchhikers," because they were like, "These are prisoners, don't do it."
Most likely dangerous person.
Yeah, like Statesville housed Charles Manson.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah. No, thank you.
No, and John Wayne Gacy.
Right.
Yeah.
Good times.
Good times. Anyway.
All right. Well, that was pretty awful.
That was awful, huh?
Are you ready for my cup of awful?
Cup of awful. Just a little sip of it.
It's a little sip. It's more interesting than awful.
A little sippy sip. Okay.
Okay. So, disclaimer. This is named one of the top 10 most haunted places in the United States of America.
Okay. Where does it rank in the top 10?
I don't know.
Okay. They always say that. They're always like, it's in the top 10, and there's never an actual.
In Chicago, I don't know where it ranks either, but it's also one of the top 10 most haunted places in Chicago.
So we've been.
So we have definitely been here.
Okay.
I'll let you read, but I wanted to preface that with some exciting news.
Exciting news. All right. Let's see here. Founded by Jane Addams and Ellen Gates Starr in 1889 in Chicago, Illinois. No! Sorry for people listening with headphones. Oh, no. The Hull House was established as a settlement house to serve recently arrived European immigrants.
The Hull House itself.
The Hull House.
The Hull House is actually not that well known.
It's not?
I had a hard time
How is it not? Rosemary's Baby was based.
Yes. I had a really hard time finding things about this.
You know we have a book that features it, right? Weird Chicago, right there.
You know what? I meant to look through it and I didn't, but whatever.
Okay. We'll get to
our own
personal experiences afterward. Okay, it was penned as a community of university women, built by Charles Gerald Hull as a home for the poor. He granted it to his niece, Helen Culver, who eventually granted it to Jane Addams on a 25-year rent-free lease.
Yes, because Jane was doing good. So they were excited about what Jane
It was meant to be a good thing.
Yes. I mean, in theory, it was a good thing.
Sure. Okay. In 1911, it was expanded into 13 buildings, and in 1912, R.I.P. Titanic, it was completed.
I think it was 1914.
Titanic? I thought it was 12.
April 12th, 1914? Or maybe it's April 14th, 1912. I think I'm having a number swap in my head.
Anyway. Izzy, can you fact check that?
Izzy?
Izzy? She's asleep. She's the worst assistant. Anyway. Okay, in 1912, it was completed with the addition of a summer camp called the Bowen Country Club. It went under several renovations throughout the years and was eventually demolished for the construction of University of Illinois, Chicago. Every time I say Chicago, I hear it.
There's a lot of things I read today and I was like, ugh.
No, I mean, like I hear it in my voice. Chicago. Their original building was moved 200 yards and still stands today and ceased operations in January 2012. You know what? That's not, that's too long for me. That's open too long for me. It was open when we went, Yeah. It has been designated as a Chicago landmark and a U.S. National Historic Landmark. It still stands as a museum.
So the crazy part to me is the fact that they moved it.
200, yards?
Yeah.
Feet? Yards?
200 yards.
You don't move it!
You don't construct, you don't move it.
Upon moving into the building, Adams learned that it had a reputation for having a haunted attic, don't they all? Occupants of the Hull House used to leave buckets of water outside the attic door as a way to please the ghosts. Okay, they're water fiends. But it did nothing to stop the footsteps and visions seen by many.
I don't really know what the point of that was, but...
The water?
Yeah.
If you guys know, email us
let
at
me know.
howawfulpodcast@gmail.com. According to legend, in 1913, an Italian family abandoned a child at the steps of the Hull House. An atheist man claiming that he would rather have the devil in his house instead of a picture of the Virgin Mary. Is that my brother? Fathered a child born with pointed ears, horns, scale-covered skin, and a tail. No, definitely not my brother. Nadia's perfect.
So there was this like atheist man version of the story. There's two different versions. This one is the Italian version.
Okay.
And there is another version that is the Jewish version of the story. And I don't know why there's two different tellings of this.
Maybe
culturally, but
they were trying to be anti-Semitic.
I don't know.
The Jewish one?
But the Jewish one says that the man was not an atheist, but that he had fathered like I think 5 or 6 daughters, and he was more like if I have another,
he was more like a hoe.
If I have another daughter, may like the devil come into this house.
Oh, okay.
Because he was just so sick of having girls because we're just so awful.
Yeah, man. Forget
useless.
Us. Okay. After he was born, this is a he
After
child.
the child, yes.
Okay.
After the he boy.
After the he child was born, the devil baby was able to immediately speak and did so primarily in profanities. Same.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I came out just cussing up a storm too. He ran around the table, shaking his finger at his father. Sorry.
Bad.
Why I'm picturing like the Ally McBeal baby. Do you remember the Ally McBeal baby? You hated that thing.
Yeah.
Did you hate it or did you like it? The little dancing 90s Ally
Oh, no.
McBeal
I
baby.
hated that thing. Terrifying.
Yeah. So I'm picturing it shaking its finger. Okay. He ran around the table, shaking his finger at his father, who finally caught him and fearfully delivered him to the Hull House. In an attempt to save his soul, the women who received him baptized him. When they tried to reveal him from the cloak he was wrapped in, he had slipped away and was seen running over the backs of the pews. They inevitably kept him in the attic after the unsuccessful baptism. You know what? Couldn't take the devil out of the baby, so put the baby in an attic. Now we have an attic baby. And now you've got problems, Hull House, so good job.
So awful.
Swarms of visitors came to see the devil baby. Adams did her best to protect him from the spectators, however unsuccessful. People who came to visit the baby would suffer from tragedies and unfortunate circumstances later in life. How much later? I need because everybody suffers from tragedies and
I was trying to find examples of this, and there wasn't too much. I mean, look, this whole story is based off of legend.
Because that's like being like, oh, I went to the Hull House when I was 21, and then my dad died 7 years later. Hull House, like,
right?
I don't. Okay, anyway, okay. No one really knows what happened to him, as he seemingly vanished one day, but people claim to still see him staring out the upstairs window.
Yeah. So, there's like been like pictures of this.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you recall, but when we went on the tour, I don't remember if it was the one with my mom and brother or not. But we were like in the yard of the Hull House and people were taking pictures around it. And this girl had like a regular Canon PowerShot camera, went to take a picture of her friend standing in the yard and like freaked out. And we all went and looked at this picture and it looks like a shadowy, like white smoky figure.
It was like
reaching out to touch her friend's shoulder.
Yeah, and it was like they had no legs.
Had no legs, and it couldn't have been doctored because we watched her take the picture and it showed up on the screen and then she freaked out. So there was no way of doctoring it.
I'm trying to find this picture online that I saw.
of the devil baby in the window. That's the clicking you're hearing.
It's me. It's
Click,
my little
click.
fingers doing.
Do you want me to keep reading while you look?
Yeah.
Okay. Adams also was said to have spoken to several friends about one of the front bedrooms on the second floor being haunted. She claimed to have seen a woman in white who was also later seen by a group of girls when the room was being used as a dressing room for the adjacent theater. Many believe this is Charles Hull's wife who died of consumption while living in the house in 1860. That's a very fancy way of saying she liked wine. In addition to Mrs. Hull, hundreds of people died there of natural causes in the 1870s when it was used as a home for the aged.
Wait, the consumption is actually tuberculosis.
It is? No, it's not.
It took me like a beat to process.
No, it's not.
I was distracted by looking
I
for the
don't
devil
believe
baby.
you.
I couldn't find the picture. I'm sorry.
Definition of consumption.
Death by consumption.
Death by consumption. That doesn't make sense that it's tuberculosis.
I would
'cause
think
that's
it was
a lung disease.
I thought so too, but then I was like, oh, it was like tuberculosis.
Oh, wasting disease, especially pulmonary tuberculosis. That makes no sense.
No.
Consumption. All right, whatever. Anyway,
She maybe liked wine too.
she probably did.
Who doesn't?
Who doesn't? So it is said that several spirits haunt the Hull house still.
Mm-hmm.
People have also experienced the Fountain Girls. Oh, maybe this was what was in the picture.
Okay.
Outside the house lives a small park with a fountain in the middle where the spirit of three girls played together. We were
This is where we were.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly. Some have said to hear their laughter or feel a breeze when they run past you. Adam Selzer of Mysterious Chicago has said that in the summer of 2006, they got a lot of photos on tours of what appeared to be an 8 to 10-year-old girl. He claims the photos to be irreputable, that even if you don't believe in ghosts, these photos would make you a believer.
I looked for these photos
And you
like a
can't find
mad
them?
woman.
They're
And I
not
couldn't
on
find it. I
Mysterious
might reach
Chicago?
out. No, I might reach out to this person, Adam Selzer, and be like, yo, you talked about these pictures. I don't believe in ghosts.
That's not what we...
No, this is a new thing. Make me a believer. This guy was actually a guide on Weird Chicago. He might have been our guide. Wasn't his name Adam?
I don't know. We said he looked like Sandy. Adam Selzer. I'm looking him up now.
Sandy.
Yes!
Yes.
Oh my God, this is our exact guy.
I thought so. Sandy is one of our best friends, by the way.
Yes. And
He
this
is
disgentle
wonderful.
fellow looked like Sandy in college.
Yeah, so I'm going to reach out to him.
Yeah,
and be
I
like,
remember
hey.
him saying that. It's Weird Chicago now.
Well, it was
Or what?
He was with Weird Chicago.
Okay.
I guess he has since he was also with what was it? Chicago Hauntings. The one that we didn't like.
No, he wasn't.
Sorry.
No, he wasn't with
Sorry
them.
if you're listening. We preferred Weird Chicago.
It was
It was something else.
Haunted Chicago or
Yeah,
something. I don't
whatever
remember,
it was,
but
doesn't
bad.
matter.
They were
Um,
liars.
Yeah, we didn't buy what they gave us. Weird Chicago was cooler, and this guy started his
We
own.
have photos of this guy
Yes,
in the
we do.
basement of that tattoo parlor that used to be a morgue.
Yeah, so this Adam fellow
Yeah.
left that and started his own called Mysterious Chicago,
Oh, interesting.
which I'd be interested. They're walking tours though.
That's okay.
Maybe it's just a walking tour now because of COVID, but
Maybe.
I don't know. Anyway,
Anyway, they brought two different psychics to the garden who both claimed a young girl named Rebecca was communicating with them. However, there is not any actual documentation of any young girl or girls dying there.
yeah, most of the documentation was old people because it was a home for the aged.
Right.
So most of the ghosts that haunt Hull House are elderly people.
Right. Another famed apparition is that of a man on the stairs. People have seen him slowly moving up from the foyer to the second floor. You can tell when he is active when the chandelier sways. For no reason.
So creepy, right? There's a picture of him too. Hold on.
There is.
Yeah, I found one earlier.
Show me, show me.
I wasn't prepared.
Oh, and it scared the as my mother would say, it scared the patuki out of you. What up, G?
Can you see him?
I see him, yeah.
So it's just like, it's kind of like orb-ish.
It
Just like
also
an outline
could
of
be
a man.
debunked because they're taking it through a window.
Yeah.
It looks like, so it could be that. Oh, okay, that's not through a window.
Yeah, there's a lot
Yeah.
of pictures that kind of, if you Google.
I mean, it's an older house, so it's probably a little dirty. I don't even like looking at pictures of this place.
No. Even if you Google man on stairs,
Yeah.
Hull House, Chicago, You should be able to see. It's like a red staircase. You probably be able to see some pictures.
Yeah.
You can decide for yourself. You can email us at howawfulpodcast@gmail.com.
If you've been to the Hull House and taken some pictures or have Hull House stories, definitely email us.
So,
but yeah, so I couldn't tell you what year exactly it was. Maybe it was 2000. It was probably 2008, I want to say.
oh yeah, it was definitely 7 or 8. Yeah.
It wasn't 7 because we lived in our apartment. In 7, we lived in a dorm.
We moved in.
No, we did. Yeah, you're right. So it could have been 2007, anywhere from 2007 to 2009.
I'm going to guess 2007 because we weren't of age to drink yet.
Right.
This is what we did for fun.
Right. Right, because we went to the tonic room. We couldn't drink. So we used to go on these ghost tours all the time. They were our favorite things to do. We'd get a big group of nerdy friends, and we'd go on these big nerdy ghost tours in Chicago. We loved them because they were, for one, historical and really fun to be on.
Yeah.
You get to see the city at night. 2, because you get to hear spooky stories and go into all these places, and it's just a whole lot of fun. So we went with my brother and my mom and my sister-in-law. And my brother, who will definitely be a guest on this podcast at some point, who will tell you more about his sensitivities towards paranormal and all that
Cannot
hoi polloi.
wait.
Yeah. He is just, me and him kind of are similar in the sense we're just crazy crap happens to us.
I'm pretty sensitive.
Yeah, we're pretty sensitive. So we walked onto this property completely unprepared. And this was the first experience I had where something was trying to use my energy to manifest itself. And I started getting really nauseous. I started getting dizzy. I started seeing white spots. And I was swaying in my spot. I couldn't stand up straight. Sorry, our assistant is
sharpening her peats on
yeah.
on the table.
She's
Good
terrible.
job.
Bad assistant.
Go back to sleep.
So my brother saw me turn basically just pale white and grabbed me and took me out of the gates of the Hull House, so past the property line.
Yes.
And just stood there with me with his hands on my head, just kind of grounding me and making me feel better, I guess you could say.
Just comforting you.
Comforting me, yeah. And
as an older brother should do.
When we got back on the bus, I felt totally fine. But that was also the first experience I had with bringing something home with me from a haunted location. After that point, I couldn't sleep in my room for several weeks because at night there would be this shadow figure that I never saw, really. It was just a dark shadow that would run around my bed growling at me.
Right.
It never left my room. It would only do this to me in my room. And our friend Joey, who we love and cherish, who will also be on the show, can attest that there were many a 2, 3 a.m. text message from me because I was freaking out and needed to be calmed down. And I knew he was the only one awake.
And he's also one of the people that would never have called you crazy or
No,
anything
never.
like that. He loves this stuff.
Yeah.
He's very fascinated by the paranormal.
Definitely.
He keeps telling me, when are we going to go investigate something? And I was like, I've literally never investigated anything in my life.
I'm in.
Now seems the right time to try it.
Yeah. Yeah, so that happened. So we went back to the Hull House because we took our friends on a tour because we liked it so much. And I stayed in the van.
I remember you sat in the van and I was like, what's she doing?
There was no getting me off of that bus back onto the Hull House property, and I never will do it. I'll never do it.
Yes, no. I literally picked this place because I knew I would get a reaction from you, and I felt like it was a good first paranormal story to tell. It is a personal story as well, but
yeah, I knew when we were coming up on the Hull House before we even got to the Hull House. I was starting to feel scared and sick.
Felt it in your bones.
And I'm not one of the. I don't get scared on ghost tours.
No, you're not scared of that stuff.
No, I'm typically the first to walk in. I'm the first to experience crap. It's just.
And she B's meh, shrug.
Shrug. I'm very
And
shruggy
I'm like
about it.
shaking
Yeah.
and terrified.
Yeah.
I just can't handle it.
I'm the one that will like sit in the dark room by myself on a ghost tour. You know what, assistant? Izzy, no one asked you. She wants to go to bed. She likes to sleep with me, our assistant. It's a HR issue.
Another HR issue.
Yeah.
Izzy, you got a lot of complaints.
Yeah. So, yeah, okay. So we got Colleen Stan, the girl in the box, and the Hull House.
Yeah, there's something interesting about the Hull House that I kind of left out. So, you know, see.
It's being terrible.
A lot of people have heard, or a lot of people were complaining, at least back in the day when it was still lively, like, and active as a home.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people had complained, like, oh, we hear moaning upstairs. We hear, like, all of these, like, terrible sounds.
Terrible sounds.
Well, to them, terrible, spooky sounds. And some people speculate that Jane Addams herself kind of made up this ghost theory, because rumor has it that she was gay, and
she was having her fun times. Orgies
with
Dang.
women only upstairs, and that people would hear these moans and these sounds, and she'd be like, "There's a ghost."
This is the time of petty. Oh my God, I'm living for that though.
Yeah,
Jane Addams was out there like, oh no, it's a ghost. It's a ghost.
Well, because Jane Addams is the one who started telling everybody, "I've seen a woman in white." So there are some theories that I still think it's super haunted, and people have had experiences there.
Clearly it's haunted.
Yeah,
We've seen
a lot of people have died there.
Mm-hmm.
There is definitely something happening there. The devil baby, I don't buy. I think it's
no.
I think there was sadly a deformed child who was given up by his family.
Yeah.
And Jane Addams did nurse this child and take care of it.
Right.
He did happen to live in the attic, but that doesn't mean that he was neglected. I think he died of natural causes, but this is all speculative. None of this is fact.
No, yeah, I would agree with you. I don't really believe in
obviously not, yeah,
that kind of stuff.
No, especially waving his finger at his dad and running on the back pews.
No, you dad
of the church. I mean, this story is kind of just fantastic. It's hard, but yeah,
and it inspired Rosemary's Baby, mm-hmm. So everybody has seen that.
Mm-hmm. It did. Which was, that's a whole other conversation.
Rosemary's Baby?
Yes.
Oh, it is?
Well, Roman Polanski.
Oh, yeah, that could be in true crime. Or alleged crime.
Yeah. So my favorite resource, which is Wikipedia.
It's all of our favorite. We're going to hear a lot about Wikipedia.
I mean, that's just like good for the history.
Yeah.
I read an Atlantic article written by Jane Addams herself called "The Devil Baby at Hull House."
Damn! I need to read that.
1916 issue. It's actually really hard to read because
it's old timey.
Yeah, and it's just the language that she uses. I mean, it's obviously in English, but she just words herself very oddly. She does talk about people claiming that tragedies happen to them after seeing the devil baby. Hi, Izzy.
We need to take off our assistant's collar for the next episode.
Yeah, so she talks about these awful things, but it was hard for me to follow, so I didn't really get into it too much. But and then the Chicago Most Haunted Countdown. Oh, it was listed as number 3. I missed that when I said I didn't know. I lied. I had one job. I'm very bad at this.
Chicago's Most Haunted Countdown is number 3.
It was number 3.
I believe it.
Do you know what number 1 was? What's your guess?
Have we been there?
Yes.
Number 1 in Chicago. Congress Hotel.
That's right.
Yep.
Number 1 in Chicago, most haunted place.
Totally
we will definitely cover this because I have a personal experience there. You have a personal experience there.
And hopefully,
my cousin Jessie has a personal experience there with us.
Hopefully, all things, willing, and this takes off and we get to travel and do this on the road.
1000%.
We will do a cast from the Congress Hotel and investigate with our old college buddies.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes, and like I said, another resource I used was Mysterious Chicago. Thank you, Adam Seltzer, for if you ever listen to this. I doubt it.
We need to get him on the podcast.
Yeah, Adam Seltzer, if you're out there.
Shout out to Adam Seltzer.
Let's have a combo. And a website called Black Sheet. So that was the whole house.
Twas.
Scary stuff.
But pretty awful.
Pretty awfully cool. I like paranormal, especially old-timey paranormal, because it feels so separated from us. You know, it just feels so distant that I feel like I can disconnect from it a little bit.
True. I think like the worst paranormal stories are always the ones that are born from true crime that are like just born from something horrible.
And when you were kind of going off earlier and talking about all of the things that the girl in the box inspired,
right?
You had said something about how like paranormal
witness covered Marie Spanik, who he allegedly murdered.
Right. And I was gonna say, but I didn't want to interrupt you because you were on a roll.
Mm-hmm.
Was that oftentimes true crime and paranormal do coincide?
Oh yeah.
My theory is just, and I think it's like everybody's theory, but is the spirit left unfinished and
a traumatic mark? Yeah, for sure.
That it just lives in this reality.
Yeah. A happy person never leaves a ghost.
No, maybe. I don't know. I feel like I've heard of happy ghosts. Nice ghosts, friendly ghosts.
Okay. I mean, yeah, nice ones, sure.
Casper.
I think nice ghosts are, shout out to Dev and Sawa.
Hey, Devs.
I think nice ghosts are typically people who died of an illness before they wanted to.
Yeah. Or children.
Children
tend to make nice ghosts, like my potential imaginary friend named Johnny.
Right.
Who knows?
Children are never malevolent, or not never, but not typically malevolent, and they tend to be playful and more pests.
Well, and sometimes demons hide themselves in children because children are more approachable.
Right.
So that's fun. I hope Johnny wasn't a demon.
He wasn't.
He's not here today, guys. Don't worry.
A demon. Johnny took the day off.
Oh, he sure did.
Where's I don't even know where I put it.
Well, maybe I should open first, and then whatever.
No, where's
whatever I have.
What the hell? My butt ate it. Hold on.
What are you doing?
Oh, it's right here. I got it. Okay. I got it. Let's open at the same time.
Okay.
Let's see if we do that, because these are the last ones.
All right. 1, 2, 3.
Okay. So next week.
Next episode.
Next episode B. That's me. We'll be covering cults.
Woo! And Tanya Lee is going to cover B's favorite topic.
Boo.
Aliens. I'm so excited for this. This is going to be
Which means
killer.
that the next round I'm going to have to do friggin' aliens.
Uh-huh.
No.
You're going to have to do it eventually.
No.
Yes.
No. Give your how wonderful. Tanya, what's something wonderful?
Oh, the most wonderful thing happened to me this week.
Really?
I reached unemployment.
That is a wonderful thing.
I reached a human.
Her unemployment for some reason just stopped.
Which, like, this has happened to millions of people in the United States of
Over
America.
$5,000 owed to you later. Luckily,
Yes.
you're employed.
I found a hack. If anybody's struggling, reach out to me. I will.
She'll post the hack on our
Yes.
Instagram.
I'll post the hack on an Instagram.
Hopefully, by the time this goes up, though, I don't know, they will have figured their garbage out.
I doubt it. They didn't figure it out for months. But anyway, I finally reached a human being, and when the human being answered, I literally said to them, "Oh my God, you're a real human. Oh my God, hold on, I need to collect my thoughts." Because I could not speak for a second because I could not wrap my head around the fact
Actual humans answer those phones.
that I didn't have to hit 10 million, well, I did have to hit 10
you
million
did.
buttons, but that I didn't have to continue hitting 10 million buttons, that I could actually talk to somebody about my problem, and then my solution literally happened 1 day later. I got my money.
Isn't that almost enraging, though,
Oh my
that
gosh.
it took literally less than 24 hours for them to fix something?
That was a problem for 2 months.
Longer than 2 months.
No, it was...
You've been calling for 2 months, but
Yeah,
they
true.
haven't paid you in 4?
No,
3.
No. It is September...
We're rambling about unemployment now.
Anyway, it was 2 months.
It
2
was.
months that they did not pay me, and that I was calling them nonstop to...
Like 1,000 times a day.
But so my wonderful is I have money that I can put back into my savings account.
I'm very happy for you. That is a wonderful.
What's your wonderful?
My wonderful is that I started my new job, and that it's
Yay.
fun. And it's well, we're in training right now.
That's not fun.
So I sit in front of a computer watching training modules all day, but I can tell I'm going to have fun. And the people there are great. And today I bonded with my manager over her also being obsessed with true crime podcast. So
shout out.
So yeah, Tria, if you're listening,
sup?
What's up? Sup? Let's pretend like this doesn't happen.
You know, I have another wonderful thing to add.
No, save it for next week.
No, I can't because it's news.
Fine.
Harry Styles was cast in an Olivia Wilde movie.
Yes, and it's something awful.
It's called Don't Worry, Darling.
He's gonna play something awful.
Also starring Florence Pugh, who B and I are obsessed with.
Love her. Love Olivia Wilde. Love Florence Pugh. Love Chris Pine. Love Harry Styles. And he's gonna play like his polar opposite.
It's gonna be so cool.
So I'm very excited.
If you can't tell, I'm a big movie buff. So most of my wonderful things are gonna have to do with movie or TV news.
Most of mine are gonna have to do with Harry Styles and Timothée Chalamet. So
hey,
it's fine.
You know,
it's fine. It's fine.
Oh, good. Izzy's decided it's time to eat her dinner. Izzy, don't smack while we're trying to record.
She's fired. You're fired. Anyway.
So now we can give them the spiel.
The spiel is you can follow us on all of the social medias at How Awful Podcast. You can email us at howawfulpodcast@gmail.com. And
you can find us at howawfulpodcast.com.
You can.
We also have a Patreon.
Or we'll have a Patreon.
We do.
We have a Patreon.
We have a Patreon, guys.
We have a Patreon. So if you want extra content, there are different tiers. And for a low fee every month, you can help feed us. We're poor.
And you can be our friend.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
That's also at patreon.com/howawfulpodcast. We love the support.
REON.
And if you guys do have any requests for Patreon for anything we can add to the tiers to make it more fun and exciting and worthwhile for you, right now it's mostly going to be a blog with some fun little extra things here and there that we're going to toss in as we go. But if you have any suggestions, we're really, really open. Like I've said, I think the past couple episodes, we want this to be collaborative.
Yes. We don't want to ask you guys to pay for something that is not worth paying for.
It's not something you want. So if we have listeners and they're excited about this and they're excited about us and they want more.
Izzy.
She's being bad. Patreon.com/howawfulpodcast, or you can email us at howawfulpodcast@gmail.com, like you said.
Yep.
And give us any sort of suggestions, tips, say hi.
Izzy, you're fired.
She's in timeout.
Yeah.
That's been us.
That's been us. B and T. Lee.
T. Lee. Ooh, I got fancy. Thank you guys for listening. We'll see you guys next episode.
Yep. As always, we've been B and Tanya Lee. Our logo was created by MJ Savard, and our theme music courtesy of Nikki Lou.